Hi everybody, this is Nathan Graham over at RPR, and welcome to our third video in the Data Dig series, where we look at how to use RPR to dig through both property as well as community data sets. So this one's pretty special. I'm excited because we're going to be talking about the recently released refresh of RPR. So as all of y'all know, if you're going to dig through a bunch of data, you need your tools to be as sharp and capable as possible. So with that in mind, we actually just resharpened our platform, making it an even better system now than ever to ensure that you're giving your clients all the information they need to make those good data-backed decisions. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we did with this refresh, but for today's video, I want to kind of keep it short and just let y'all know some of the key changes that will help you, continue researching properties and community data within RPR. So with that, I think the most obvious place to start is this newly redesigned homepage. I think the key here is we've shifted from having two homepages, one residential and one commercial, to one singular homepage, with this toggle being how you tell the system what types of workflows you want to do that day. So when you have it set to commercial, all of the filters are going to change and be more commercially focused. The maps will be a little bit different and so forth. So this is where your control center is. So from there, another cool thing on our homepage here, this My Market area, especially from like a research perspective, this is just a really quick 10-day snapshot of what's happening in the markets that you work. So if you're not familiar with my neck of the woods, I live actually in Vancouver, Washington. We're a 10-minute swim across the Columbia River into Portland, Oregon. So for me, I like to have these two different markets up, Portland and Vancouver. You can have multiple areas. You can add these as you see here. You can also add your markets in your profile page as well. But again, it's just a really quick snapshot of what's happening in your market. You can see properties that come up that are distressed, things that have closed, new pending properties, there's been price changes, new for sale and for lease. So it's a really great way just to take a quick look, see if there's something new that's come up, and see if that might be a fit for your client. The other part of the homepage that I wanted to show you is we now have this really nice research drop down. And so what this will allow you to do is jump into the commercial site selection as well as those commercial map insights that we have used and enjoyed in the RPR previous mode. If we look at the site selection, it'll look very familiar to what y'all are familiar with. You plug in any geography across the country, or you create your own on the map, and then through the Esri data, you're able to select who you want to be around, what those folks are doing, how they live, facts and stats, all those economic, demographic, spending, tapestry segment data sets are going to be available to you in this part of the tool as well. For the maps, we can go here to the commercial map insights. And if you remember from RPR1, we called this our thematic map area. This is just a good place for me to kind of talk a little bit about all of the map changes. The key being that the map is just larger and a little bit easier to use. So you can see here we still have all of those data layers, disposable income, married to unmarried, population of folks who are seniors, for instance. If you want to apply those, you just click on apply. And just like before, you can click on any of these areas and kind of scroll around and see what's going on. If you're looking for, in this case, maybe high populations of seniors. We can also come here and we can clear that. We have the business points of interest here. Within the driving, this is where we have put the travel time, where you can do those 3, 5, 10-minute drive time trade area reports, or your drive time searches. We have our distance tool, so you can do those 1, 3, 5 mile radius trade area reports around a property. And then, of course, you see here we have traffic counts as well. Let's see, the newest part to the view, we actually now have a terrain view. So this was a big request from all of our folks working in the land world, being able to see some topography mapping within the system. So now, if you grab a screenshot here, you can show a little bit more depth to the land there than you previously were able to. And then, of course, up here in the very top, we still have all of your geographies, including those wonderful opportunity zones across the country as well. The other big change in this part of the refresh has to do with just the search side. So I thought what we would do is just run through a really quick search here. The system is now kind of guiding users to start with a very defined search and then broaden from that, square footage or purchase price if the original search doesn't land on what they're actually trying to find. So what we can do here is click on filters, click on reset to kind of get back to normal. And just want to really quickly talk about some of the new stuff and some of the changes. So when you're looking for properties, you can still look for on-market properties, both for sale and for lease. You can also just look at public records. So the big change here is that you no longer have to do an all property search in order to see public records. You can just go and look for public records, which I think is pretty cool. And then you can also just do an on-market search here as well, instead of having to do, again, an all property search and filter through the public records if you're looking for something for lease. The other thing that's pretty cool here is because we've combined those, now you can do searches where, you can set a min-max for, an all-out purchase if someone wants to, give you the option of, becoming an owner-occupier or leasing out space. You can put in both of their criteria in both of these price fields. And then we've also added, however you and your market like to look at purchase price, be that dollar per square foot, be that total amounts, be that on a monthly or an annual basis, whatever way you set up your search criteria, regardless of how the listing agent, entered that information, our system will go in there and normalize, a monthly, rental rate into a dollar per square foot. So you don't have to worry about missing out on, a listing that you put in $10 to $15 per square foot and they put in $15,000 monthly. We will pull that in as long as it matches that $10 to $15 per square foot range. The same building information, lot size, leasable square footage, number of units, that's carrying across. We've extended your ability to search for specific types of distressed properties, going beyond just all distress. Now you can look at specific stages in the process, and then you can also plug in, specific date ranges if you're so inclined. This is another really popular option that we've brought in, being able to work with land use codes. So now through public records, you can search for properties that have, specific land use codes, and if you're trying to look at development projects and opportunities. Down here, a lot of this is familiar from last time. However, this time owned is new. So if you're looking for clients who have owned a property for the last 10 to 15 years, thinking they might be, hopefully ready to put that back on market, you can now go into RPR and specifically look for those people. We also have this keyword search where we've always had keyword search, but we never kind of had these popular ones where you can just click on them and grab them this way. You can also type in things like if you wanted to type in drive-through, and see if anybody has, marketed their property as having a drive-through lane, which of course is becoming more and more popular, throughout the pandemic, as having that option to, deliver food. And then lastly, being able to include properties with a null or blank value on the price per, square foot or the purchase amount, as well as the building size field. So if a listing agent didn't put that information in, the system's default is to exclude that. However, if you put a check mark here, then it will include that within your search. So search has obviously changed a little bit. Why don't we go ahead and run through one of these so you can just kind of see what it looks like. So we're going to do industrial. Let's say that my client's willing to buy or lease. So I'll leave both for sale and for lease there. But on the sales side, really they're only wanting to spend up to 1.5 million. And one thing I love about the system, one of the updates, is it tries to guess, I guess would be the word, what you're looking to do. And so if I'm looking at 1.5 million, I type in 1.5 and I can then just go down and select that. So it's a very intuitive system. We could also plug in something like, we want at least, 7,000 square feet. And, once we have our basic details set in, what I then do is come up here and you can see you can still do APN or tax ID. Again, the system's going to try to guess what you're looking to do. When we see the one that you're looking for, you just click on it, and now we can go into my Portland, Oregon search. You can see there's 31 properties. Another new part of the site is that we now have 3 options as far as looking at the results. We obviously have here the map option, so you can kind of quickly see what that looks like. We have here what is my new favorite, the grid view, because it gives you a nice image and then has these details down here. And then you also do have your more standard or historic, kind of a line view as well, with a little bit more details here, a little bit more spaced out, but a smaller picture. So however you want to look at properties is fine. You can still create mailing labels, print out, these results. Another cool thing about the site is you can actually select the properties you want to print out and then hit print that way. So if you're looking to build some, broker price opinion, you're looking at comparables or something like that, you can select only the ones you want to kind of bring to the table. And then as we're kind of continuing down here, the actual searching process is very similar to what we have always done. You're just kind of looking through properties, trying to understand whether or not something fits your wants and your needs. I will say you probably are noticing some of these multiple listing options. And if we come to one of these and click on it, you can now see that in this instance there is one primary space, but then there's also multiple suites within this building available. The other thing that this will do, if this was listed on multiple sites such as Crexi and Brevitas and even your local MLS, you would have all three of those as options for starting points, so that you can then really quickly and easily jump into whatever version of that listing you want to. And so for this one, let's say that we're looking at this unit or suite that has about 6,700 square feet. Now we're on the property detail page, which should look very familiar to what you always have had. You got your maps over here where you can click and do your trade area reports and those kind of things. But the one thing I really want to point out is down here, we now have enhanced, I guess is the right word, how you can go and look at properties on our partner sites. And so not only can you jump and evaluate and do your investment analysis from here, but you can also click on the Crexi, the Brevitas, all of our national partners, commercial exchange, and go and look at those properties on their sites. And as I like to teach, there's always things that we're not given, or brochures and PDFs just can't be sent via an API. So it's always good to check out these partner sites, see if there's a brochure specifically where you can pull some more information. You can also download these and include this in your property report by adding it to your custom pages within RPR. But just always a good idea to come to the original site when you can, and just see if there's more information available for you. So with that, again, my goal here was to just first of all, I guess kind of make sure everybody's aware that we have done a really, really cool refresh of the RPR site. But also just to kind of hit on a couple of the things that I think are most important for y'all to understand as you're doing property searches, looking for clients, looking for comparables, doing trade area research, how to get to all that stuff. I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of these changes, and just really encourage y'all to go play around on the system and let us know what you think. If there's things we can do to continue improvement, we always love to hear that. And if you have those ideas, shoot me an email. It's just nathang@narrpr.com. Hopefully you found some value in this video, and look forward to talking with y'all next month. Take care.